What's up? What's up? What's up? Happy Friday, y'all. Welcome to a new episode of Unspoken Truth. This is a special edition episode. This is Tea After Dark, okay? So I want to start the episode off with saying, listen, parental control advised. Do not be watching this episode with your kids, minors, none of that, okay? I'm always mindful of those things because I'm a parent too. Tonight's topic, like I said, is a Tea After Dark episode. The topic is preferences in the bedroom, and I'm just going to go ahead and jump on into it, okay? I got a guest tonight. That's Buddy. Hopefully, he jump in here real soon. But when I do episodes like this, I like to get a base, if you will, on what we gonna be talking about. Okay. Tonight's episode is preferences in the bedroom. We're gonna talk about what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, what's normal, what's abnormal. Some of the red flags that you need to look for. We're gonna discuss all of that tonight. Hey Peaches, how you doing? We gonna talk about all of that, okay? Because I feel like it is a lot of things going on in the world as a whole, and then there's a certain level of embarrassment or insecurities about sexuality. And it's like we all adults. There is no way at this point, whatever age you is, whatever season you is, and that we not being able to have open dialogue and discuss the stuff that adults need to be aware of. So now we talking about preferences in the bedroom, okay? Um, who this could go so many different ways, but I'm just gonna start off by saying I believe that you need to know a person on a physical level, on an emotional level, on a mental level before any kind of sexual engagement or encounter can take place. You can't just be hanging out with whoever. You can't just be interacting and engaging with whoever. You have to have a base. Your base is going to be your standards, your boundaries, and your preferences. Okay? What you prefer, what you don't like, what you would like to explore, what you would not like to explore. Because everybody absolutely has to try something in order for them to know if they like it. Okay? That includes me, that includes you, that includes the world. You're not going to be able to say, hey, I like this or I don't like that if you never tried it. You got to engage. You got to learn how to try some things, even if it's uncomfortable. Listen, new things, unfamiliar things, the unknown is always uncomfortable. Okay. We not about to sit here and try to act like that's not what it is. That's exactly what it is. A lot of people is uncomfortable because they worry about judgment. They worry about if somebody gonna know and feel some type of way. But let's be clear. Tonight's episode is geared towards adults, people who are responsible, people who are aware, people who are accountable. Okay. Now, I'm not gearing this episode towards anybody that's out here living reckless because there is a lot of people that's out here engaging and entertaining in certain things and they have no idea about the person that they doing the stuff with. Okay. So we got to break all of this down. We got to talk about red flags. We got to talk about standards. We got to talk about boundaries. We got to talk about preferences. Because in order for you to have, I believe, a healthy sexual lifestyle, you got to consider those things. You can't have a healthy encounter with nobody until you practicing some type of healthy protection for yourself. I'm not saying excluding the other person, but let's be clear. You can't worry about nobody else until you worry about yourself. Okay? You can't be worried about this other person and what they doing and not doing. It's about you being your best advocate. It's about you showing up, standing up for yourself. You can't worry about nobody else. For example, you meet somebody, y'all been hanging out for a while, y'all ready to get intimate. And let's talk about intimacy because a lot of people just automatically think that's sex. It's not. It's a lead to the sex. It's a in the direction of the sexual encounter, but it is not the beginning of intimacy. Intimacy is you learning somebody on an emotional and mental level. What do they like? What don't they like? What do they prefer? What don't they prefer? These is all things that you should be watching and taking note of as you date, encounter, spend time, do things with this person. Do what? This is stuff that you should be looking at way before y'all get to the bedroom. Anatomy, for starters. You ought to be paying attention to somebody's anatomy. You need to be able to look at them physically and tell whether or not they somebody you should lay down with. Okay? It's a lot of factors. We got a lot of things that we got to take into consideration with illnesses, because I don't like to say disease because they taught us that a lot of the stuff that we contract or expose ourselves to is incurable. That's a lie. I don't agree with that. We'll talk about that later. But these are things you got to consider. If this person take their clothes off and expose their body parts to you, are you going to be able to see some things? Boils, lesions, hair bumps. It's a list of things that you should be looking at physically with this person. Uh, Semen. Although a man can release semen before they actually ejaculate, we know that. Okay, we're not talking about that, but you ought to be paying attention to these things because sometimes a person could be leaking from their genital area and it be an infection of some kind. You got to pay attention. A lot of things live in the mouth. A lot of things live in the genital area. You got to pay attention. Okay? Now, you in your mind, you thinking like this person is healthy. Nothing is wrong with them. Please do not go by these boundaries because it's an illusion. You can't tell. Some people be ill. And because they not showing no type of symptoms, you will never know. Pay attention. This is when your discernment come into play. Stuff we been talked about the last couple of weeks. This is when your intuition come into play for you to start listening to your gut. That's your inner direction, your inner coach, your inner guide. You supposed to be listening to that. Now, I grew up in an era where they tell you certain things, and these may be myths or they may be truth. I'm not sure. I have not particularly went by these things. Okay, I have not went by these things where I'm like, okay, um, this is something we need to talk about. But my mother and elders in my family and my bloodline talked about earwax. You getting some earwax from your person, okay, Welcome, franchise. Oh man, don't do that. Okay, there we go. Franchise. What's up? So we talking about preferences in the bedroom, and I started out talking about red flags, things to look at as far as physical anatomy. You don't want to just be laying down with somebody and you haven't checked them out. When they take their clothes off, what does they anatomy, they genitalia, those type of areas, they lips, what do it look like? Because you need to be paying attention to that type of stuff. This is the person you about to interact with on the sexual level. Do they got lesions? Do they have sores? Do they got certain things on their lips and genitalia that will make you be like, hold up? I thought I might want to interact with that, but hold on. I'm nervous. Because at the end of the day, you need to take into consideration your health first before you worry about this other person. You don't know what they got going on and what they into. But you need to be an advocate for yourself first to say whether or not this is something you want to pursue or engage in. Because I think, this is just my thoughts, that a lot of people are not taking none of this stuff into consideration before they lay down with somebody. It's an impulse. Maybe it's spontaneous. Maybe you don't have no self-control over your sexuality and your genitalia. I really can't speak, but I'm saying certain people wouldn't be doing certain things if they had control. So I want to hear from the male's perspective because I'm talking from the female perspective. A lot of these women is not doing none of the above that I discussed.
Well, you put like 5 things out there at one time with a table. They got like 5 in 1 right now. So
Okay, well, let's just talk about the basis. Because I like to start with some type of foundation, some type of base that we could kind of build up on. When you first meet somebody, what are some of the things that you take into consideration before you take it from just a physical, vocal interaction with this person to a sexual interaction?
well, to be honest, men don't talk to women that we don't want to sleep with. So we already are
Ooh,
the first date.
whoa, wait a minute. Wait. Y'all not talking to women that y'all don't already see yourself sleeping with. That's what you said.
No, usually those type of women, I'm the ones that choose us.
Wait,
We'll just deal with that.
wait a minute. Oh, okay, wait. Because we gotta talk about this. Because I grew up in an era where men do the choosing. You saying that we not where we used to be, where the man is just doing the choosing. It's some women out here choosing too.
Well, the women that choose it, they unfortunately, they had some bad 20s and early and 30s and shit, so they didn't get to live their life. So they didn't get to meet some of the better guys or some of the guys they was attracted to, but they wasn't attractive enough. Some guys didn't want to fuck with you. You know, everybody. So they're not. So now as you get older, they'll sacrifice a little bit more to try to talk to a guy they want to deal with.
Ooh.
And it comes to the price tag. The same way as a guy as me, if I want to talk to a certain woman, I know it's certain ways I got to do, certain things I got to do. We are still choosing. Men are still picking women. We're just not picking a lot of basic women.
Ooh, wait a minute. You saying basic. What do you mean by basic? Because we got this trend going on. Because I want us to discuss all of this. The part that we play in it by going out here and doing certain things to try to attract men. The same thing that y'all do to try to attract women. I don't want us to be misconstrued about things. Because let's be clear, a lot of us is doing things to attract the opposite sex, if not the same sex. So when you say basic, what do you mean by that?
A lot of guys is not really interested in say a woman might just be maybe she might not have the best build. She's a cool ass person. She got a little butt, got a little this regular little bit. Now she's not really making no noise like as far as like damn that's put it on the Instagram model. So guys they try to keep those in the cut and then try to put the big
Oh, so you saying that most men would prefer to put the woman who is doing certain things to her body to get certain attentions in front of the camera before they gonna put the basic woman that you discussing.
Yeah, you put them all in the room. What you gonna pick? You gonna pick a skinny guy like me, or you gonna pick the guy who in the gym all the time? Like these things happen for men too. It's not just a woman thing. Like it happens for
Okay,
men too.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah.
But I don't really want the good guy. I want the guy with the muscles. Same thing. The guy.
Oh, wait a minute. Cause see, you talked about women is doing choosing, but we doing bad choosing. So see, we gotta talk about the bad pickings versus the good pickings. I'm a woman myself, and we talked before this podcast even started. And I was talking about me living a majority of my life doing the choosing. If I knew what was best for me, then perhaps I wouldn't have made some of the bad choices and men. Because you sit here saying that there is a bad choice in men and there's a good choice in men.
You didn't like him. They told you just didn't like him. It's one bad trait that you thought he was so horrible about this guy. Wasn't that bad you could deal with, but you chose a guy to have multiple bad traits. So you pick out multiple. The one that he had one flaw. You picked the guy with 5.
Ooh.
You made that decision.
Ooh. Okay, so let's talk about what you believe that's rooted in. Because you got a daughter. What do you think that's rooted in us women picking the dude that had 10 bad things about him versus the person that had 2?
That's a flawed trash right there because that's so flawed about it. And a lot of people always bring that up about things like that. I don't watch people come from nothing and be perfect with it. I don't want good women come from good houses and be healthy. Like it's not a good science to that because we don't know what a person might gonna do. I'll give you the work and she's still gonna be a hoe. I give you nothing and you'll be a scholar. So it's like you can't really think it's a.
And I've heard men say that they never know where they lie with a woman.
That's our biggest.
And I beg to let me explain why I beg to differ with that. Because you got women who unsure of themselves. So how they gonna show up the way you need them to be for you? Okay, because I believe that all of that shit is rooted in how you feel about yourself first before you gonna be able to expect certain feelings or things from somebody else. If you poor at taking care of yourself, if you unsure about yourself, if you don't know what make you tick and what make you talk, what you like and don't like, then how in the world is you gonna teach that to somebody else? Because I'm a firm believer that you teach people how to treat you. It's not the other way around. So, for example, if a person see you be dirty, unclean, what I mean is not just hygiene, the way you keep your surroundings, your environment, then why in the world would they show up cleaning up, not leaving behind nothing, not taking care of the space that you invited them in? They not. They're going to duplicate what they see you doing for yourself, is what I mean. I mean that in every area of your life. it's not just your environment and the way you treat yourself. It's also the way you teach somebody how to treat you. You not taking care of yourself, why would I show up doing it? I don't see you doing that for yourself. I'm not going to show up like that. We're going to attract who we are at our core. Forget what we put on these apps. Forget what we think we want to be or want to be. No, who we are at our core. The part that we may not want the world to know about because we insecure with that. We not necessarily confident about that within ourselves. So we not going to show up like that. We not. We not going to show up like that. We going to show up the way we think that you want us to show up. Do you get what I'm saying? Based off of what you showing us. You don't care about yourself, so I'm going to show up and get whatever I can get from you until my time expires. But if you was a person who took care of yourself and did certain things, had boundaries and standards, I would know that I have to show up at a certain level already based off of me seeing you do certain things. That works in the bedroom, outside the bedroom, in your workplace, whatever, family, friends. That all applies to all of those sectors.
Well, I'll tell you like this. This what happened. This what happened when he did a lot of this fuck shit that's been going on recently. Maybe the internet and how this shit goes on.
Okay.
What happened was women got a lot of fuck shit for a long time. And y'all was totally fine with it. And what happened was the internet got introduced. They started seeing nicer guys doing nicer things. So then they turned women into sapiosexuals. So now more women are more attracted to guys who actually can speak and talk instead of guys who can flash and look good. Because looking good and flash does not create to your mind frame. So now you're not, you find out what you're dumb.
Woo!
Finding that more attractive right now.
Okay.
And some of the other things. So some of the guys who might be as attractive as that way, they got that other trait and they still got other shit. It's not physically. The same way guys will not pick a dumb bitch. We're not picking the dumb bitch.
Oh, let's talk about it. Wait a minute. Let's talk about it. Porter, what's up?
We'll sleep with a dummy, but we're not picking the dummy.
Ooh. Wait, stop right there. So you saying, ooh. We gotta talk about it. You will lay down with the dummy.
Yes.
But you're not picking her as long term. You're not picking her as wifey. You're not picking her as girlfriend. You're not picking her as your woman.
Maybe because she's dumb. Listen, she's not because it's problems arise. When problems arise, he has no solution to none of the problems. Besides saying, I'm gonna give you some push in the head. Well, probably it's also a pussy in the head. There's no problems. You need somebody to come and combine and actually bring some thought to the table. Whether you agree with it or not.
Okay.
Come with ideals.
Okay, so now we talking about that. How do you feel about polyamorous lifestyle? Because I try to tell women, yes, I'm a woman. But I know that men are hunters. Y'all, that's how y'all created. I look at it as women get taught curtsy, cross your legs, sit with your legs closed, certain things like that. Y'all don't get taught that. You understand what I'm saying? Most of the things that y'all get taught is based and rooted in action and something physical with your hands or something of that nature. Y'all not taught to be idle and still. Y'all taught to be active and hunt and go get what y'all need. Do you get what I'm saying? So I look at that with the polyamorous stuff is us as a culture, as a society has been taught one person to one person. You get what I'm saying? But who's to say that works for me?
Well, I'll tell you this. You're talking about poly. It's poly is mean multiple partners. I don't know multiple partners. Somebody accompanying themselves.
Ooh, why? Why?
One person like, because always one. Listen, when you deal with, that's why you gotta live and learn. A lot of guys in their 20s, you actually live and learn. You do what you're supposed to do. You understand about dealing with two women or multiple women at the same time, even if they fuck with each other. Someone's gonna go left. It's never gonna be this perfect community. They love each other. It's not gonna work like that. So what happens with the poly thing? One woman is gonna be the insecure woman that say, "I don't care if this bitch still go," because she just want to be with the guy because she don't think she can find anything else besides the guy. So in the poly thing, which I have no problem with if you're doing it, you're managing it right.
But I think a lot of niggas forgot they got to take care of all these different women on a mental, on an emotional, and on a physical level, and financially sometimes.
All that shit you take care of with the woman, y'all still are women.
Problematic writer.
Mental. It's always mental. It's not about to take care of. Nigga, pay your bills. If your mental ain't right, it don't matter what the dollar is.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna be motherfucker at that poly relationship gonna be like, I think I can do better.
Oh, Porter said it's the ego. See, I done did episodes on this kind of stuff. I did an episode on polyamorous lifestyle, period. And you can go back last year and watch it. We talked about all of this. What I'm saying is a lot of men is aspiring to have threesomes, foursomes, fivesomes, orgies, whatever. And they not taking into consideration all the stuff that comes with that. It's not just in the bedroom. Because I'm hoping that my peoples pop in here. He's actually living this lifestyle. I'm hoping my peoples pop in here. He has taught me that there is way more to it than the sexual aspect of it. Yes, I could bust you down all day long. I can give you what you need in the bedroom, unlimited orgasms and nuts. I can do that. But if the mental and emotional aspect, like you talked about the sapiosexuals, if those needs are not being met, that shit is nothing but a sexual encounter. That's not a polyamorous lifestyle. Because you forgot about everybody else's thoughts outside of yours. You was just trying to fulfill your physical needs. See, it's a lot of men out here that's not in control of their dick. See, like you talked about in your 20s, you live and you learn. I think that's when you busy putting notches in your belt as a man. This is just me. I'm not a man, so I'm just speaking from what I've seen in life. A lot of niggas have not graduated from that shit. They still out here trying to put notches in their belt. Problematic writer said romance with bad finance is a nuisance. You better talk it. You better talk it. Because see, men want that lifestyle, but they don't have the financial stability to have it. See, they only focused on what's about to occur. And that's temporary. Because after the nut, then what? Because most people is hungry after they have sex. Let's talk about it. You ain't about to just sit here and look at me and I'm going to look at you, nigga. I'm hungry. What we finna do now? Because it's a possibility that we going to want to go rounds. This was just the first round. I ain't fully satisfied. You ain't fully satisfied. We need to eat. So we can meet.
And it's another thing that happens right now. I think a lot of guys didn't live their life, and they're taking it out right now, whether they're late 30s, early 40s, 50s. They're taking out the life they couldn't live in their 20s. They were lames. So when you were like in that category, now you got your money up now. Everybody, a lot of things changing and shit for you. So they're reliving the times where everybody lived on. A lot of guys who got older with that shit, we don't really play like that. We try to lock certain things in because we know they did it, and we already know like at the age begin to. The last thing we want to worry about is dealing with multiple women at price tags. Because we trying to accomplish something we're trying to get done, and I can't be dealing with emotional. I need somebody locked in, and you already got enough going on. Like,
well, let's talk about that, because I've seen different videos where certain men and women say to date multiple. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, because you be dedicated your energy, effort to this one person, and you forgot about the other people who was trying to pursue you. You ain't even gave them a chance, because you done automatically marked this one person as your person. Stop doing that. That ain't just no man thing. I believe women need to practice that too. It's called filtering. You supposed to be sifting through the multiple candidates and making a decision, because when you dating, that's called collecting data. Most people ain't dating no more. They just going straight from what's up with you, let me get your number, we gonna text or talk a couple times, and we going straight to the bed. I have no idea who this person is that I'm laying with. Porter said we have two brains, the one up top saying no, don't get yourself caught up, but the dick is saying fuck it, you have to follow the right brain. Yep. Yep. Yes, you better. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of rules, like you said, people just doing this shit, they randomly popping in, they fucking with people. Now, and you also brought up something earlier about when you first did your mama, when you first came with your mama. How long does it take somebody to road dog somebody?
I think that people is automatically doing it. I've been in situations where the dude then took it off. It may have started out like that, but that's not how it ended. And for me, that's wrong, because you doing what you want to do for your own satisfaction. You not considering nothing going left or wrong with either one of us. You wrong for that. Because the first step is practicing safe sex. Let's be clear. We talking about where we live. We know the statistics. We know the numbers. And they over the top, through the roof. Okay? And a lot of different areas. But we also have to understand what all of this stuff is rooted in. We were all born into an unhealthy diet, which caused parasites. I've done an episode on that too. Most of the things that's plaguing and killing us off is all rooted in parasites. Whether they label it as a sexually transmitted disease or a terminal fucking illness, I'm telling you what it's rooted in. But because we got taught an unhealthy diet from the start, none of us was taught detoxing. None of us was taught healthy things. And this is why it play out in so many different areas of our life. It's not just in the bedroom. Because if your blood pressure and your cholesterol is off, it's going to affect your performance in the bedroom. We know that. That's why a lot of men are suffering from erectile dysfunction, or just not being able to show up how they want to.
That's from porn. A lot of guys get arrested because of porn. It's not because you just type a letter in and find your fantasies and find what you want.
Ooh, well, porn has played a major factor in over sexual drive. A lot of us is overly sexual, period. And it started with porn. I'm a 43-year-old woman telling you that I snuck and watched shit that I know I wasn't supposed to as a fucking teenager. And I know my parents and my aunts and uncles would never approve of it, but I'm a grown woman. I'm just saying, like, listen, this is what I learned. The more somebody told you don't, the more you went and did. Okay? Because you want to know why they told you don't do it. If they didn't explain it to you and all they said is don't do it, it's ineffective in my eyes. Because you can tell me don't do stuff all day long. That don't mean that I'm going to hear that. But if you tell me don't do it, and this is what's going to happen if you do, I stand a better chance at following, not doing it, because you gave me examples of what's going to happen if I do, versus you just telling me not to do it. Because I was that same way. My parents told me don't do a whole lot of shit. It don't mean that I didn't do it. It really meant the opposite. I did everything they told me don't do. Why? Because I wanted to know why they was telling me don't do it. That's what I mean. Reprimand, it's the same thing as reprimanding a child, disciplining them, whooping them. If you don't explain to them why you doing it, it's a waste of an ass whooping to me. Because I can bet 9 times out of 10, my last $50, that they going to go do the same thing that you just whooped them for, because you did not tell them why not to do it.
Ain't that the same thing as fucking then?
Well,
wasting whoopings and wasting fucking.
Well, a lot of us did it because nobody taught us about it. That's my point. I grew up, no, my parents didn't have to talk with me. I learned that through just me bumping my head and stepping off the porch. Nobody said, hey, if you jump off this porch right now, this is what's to come. That's why I got 3 grown kids today. Because all of the stuff that I listened to came from somebody else. It didn't come from the inside of the household. And that's part of the problem. Some of us as parents, we scared to talk to our kids about sex. And we only want to talk to them about the physical part. We don't want to talk to them about the mental and emotional piece. Because it's more than us just laying down with somebody. We also getting up with a bunch of shit that we didn't have before we laid down with this person. And that's called soul ties. It's people out here that's fucked up. Let's be clear. Mentally, emotionally, physically, they traumatized. They got mommy and daddy issues. And now you laid down with them. And you trying to figure out why your energy and your frequency is off. Because you laid down with somebody that's low vibrational. That ain't dealt with none of their shit. And now you got to deal with your shit and theirs. And vice versa. They trying to figure out what's going on with them. Because it's an energy transfer. We are energy beings. We got to stop just stopping at the fact that we physically attracted to the opposite sex or maybe even the same sex. And that's the extent of it. No, this shit deeper than that. Because now you got a soul tie and you don't even want to deal with this person no more. But ain't nobody taught you about a soul tie or how to sever it or cut it or none of that. You just walking around with all these energies and deities and demons and all this shit. Because we talked about this before. It doesn't matter if you wearing a condom or not. It's an energy transfer. It's not a fluid transfer. It's an energy transfer.
So you telling me if a woman get raw dog, they feel differently than a condom?
It's still a soul tie because the encounter and connection happened. It's still a soul tie, whether it was protected or not. Because we didn't talk a little bit about spouse soul ties and how that shit go on and on. How a person be feasting off of you simply because your energy, your aura, your frequency, your sexual energy, all of that got to be taken into consideration. Some people ain't just around because they like your personality. Some people is around because you possess certain shit that they lack. That's what I'm saying. That's what I consider a soul snatcher. Yeah, because we got to talk about that too. Because we talk about preferences in the bedroom. You be done laid down with a soul snatcher.
The preferences in the bedroom always come back to the same thing. Sexual.
Okay.
That's the ones who snatch those right there. A nigga think they can just put it down. It's not snatching the soul. That's that. They fucked you.
Oh.
The next kill. Now, motherfucker that you got could do both. A little more dangerous.
Okay. Okay.
Because they're gonna do the same thing. But then after all that shit done, that motherfucker still fucking.
Man, well, I mean, again, to each his own. Cause you got, again, I work in a adult store. So it's like I get so many different people from different walks of life, different age ranges, and some of them be extremely uncomfortable. It's like, what you uncomfortable for? We adults. You wouldn't be allowed in this environment if I didn't think you was old enough to be here. Right? So now it's about me helping you bring the inner fantasy that you have for yourself to life. It's a variety of ways we could go about this. You looking for something to dress up in so you can role play. You looking for something to play with for yourself or your partner. Is you looking for something for both of y'all so y'all can have a good time. These is things that I gotta ask.
I don't know, like,
so I could get in your business a little bit for you to be comfortable.
I don't know what a nigga need. Fuck with one.
Well, listen, your name say on tag Buddy L Honey Pack. So you know a little something about things that could be used in the bedroom.
Oh, as far as me, okay, I took it the wrong. I'm thinking like, yeah, okay, I'm thinking like toys and shit. I'm like, what the fuck this nigga tripping off for? Okay, yeah.
No.
But those things don't be having to be used. Those things are just really basically for the women shit, man.
Okay. I mean, for you to show up as a certain way.
Oh no, that's you do that. Usually, honey packs are used in the beginning. First impressions last forever.
Oh,
so
my
you don't want to mistakes. Like you don't want to go there and tip drill. That's the shit. Shit, man. Every man went to a tip drill never got called back before. It was an accident.
Well, wait a minute. Let's talk about a tip drill. Mm-hmm. What you mean? Tip drill.
Yeah. A nigga might like get like fucking a couple pumps and like he already know his mind. He ain't gonna make it.
Okay. Let's talk about it. I don't mean to laugh, but I never known it to be called that. So you teaching me. You teaching me.
Okay. Like what the fuck? It wasn't. You probably blame him. It wasn't his fault. Like it's like, but it happens to every woman. And
every woman. Wait a minute. Hold on. I don't believe that. Hell no.
Man, every woman got tip drill. But that's all you like, yeah. Thanks. Push up was every woman got tip drill, right? But any nigga had went through that too, so we know how that shit work. Take precautions on them shit, man. I don't even play like that. We're gonna be on the Unspoken Truth podcast. God bless. You never know where to go on this podcast. It goes everywhere. See, I be seeing some of these comments, but it's hard to read. Okay, then I can see some comments. Okay. That's him. My phone's acting crazy. Nah. Nah, it ain't about being attracted to someone having sexual harassments. See, but the thing is, it's not about that. Those are the same thing as a girl need a rose sometimes. See, those are spiritual.
That's not the best toy. Fuck that. I ain't about to agree with that. That ain't the best toy.
I don't know when you talk about the cut. I was
okay, Porter said if you are attractive to a woman, you don't need no sexual enhancements. If you are attracted to a woman, you don't need no, she is all you need. But see, that's what I'm saying. That's my point. A lot of people is getting it because the woman is throwing it. They don't necessarily like the nigga. They don't necessarily want the nigga, but that's what's available. Same thing with a man. This is why I said you must have some type of sexual control. If you don't have control of your sexual appetite, then you will lay down with anybody. That saying goes for any man. Monty said he want 7 women. That's fine. We talking about polyamorous life. We talking about in and out the bedroom. We talking about all of that. We talking about all of that because for me, it's gonna resort back to you being back in tune with yourself first before you gonna ever be able to tell somebody what you like or don't like. You can't tell nobody what you like or don't like until you figure it out for yourself, within yourself. You can't. It's impossible. That don't exist. So a lot of stuff got to be taken into consideration. Monty said, and some curly fries. So 7 women and curly fries? Really? That's funny. I appreciate you for that. I mean, I'm just simply saying, like, can we get to a place where we comfortable to discuss the stuff that we like? Can we be honest and upfront? Listen, this is what I like. And if that's not what you like, then leave it alone. What is the point of you leading somebody on? What is the point of you letting somebody lead you on if it's not your cup of tea?
Well, you got to ask that question, and that's the uncomfortable question, because people assume, like, I'm going to assume, I'm going to do what I did to the last nigga to him. He likes that. No, they don't really mean that. Same woman, like, okay, I like different ways. So you got to do it. After you're doing a couple little things a little bit, you got to step back. Have a conversation and ask them, like, so how do you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you really actually want it? How do you like it? You have to ask that question if you get into that stage practice. You know? You have to ask, because I can't assume you want it the same way. I don't know your style. People like different styles. Like, shit, I might thought this style was style. You might be like, nah, ain't my style. So how you supposed to figure that out if you don't ask the question?
But that's what I'm saying. A lot of people is not trying to have these conversations. And I think they necessary. How can you think long term with somebody if you're scared to talk to them?
I don't think I said before. I don't think nobody think long term. I think guys think.
Ooh, so you feel like temporary, flame.
I think we all guys, we meet somebody, we always look at it woman is temporary. Yeah. We don't meet women like, you know what? I'm sure we look at them like, I'll fuck her, and then try to fuck them. And then now if something change between that time, in between that, then yeah, it'll go different.
Oh, I can't wait to read the comments behind this right here, because I bet it's some men that's gonna say no. I seen her, I met her, We hung out. I knew she was the one, and that's that.
I don't deal with simp. I don't deal with simp.
Porter, what you think? Do you think that you met her, you hung out with her, and you automatically knew that she was the one? Because he's saying men are dogs.
They are, and these niggas act. Listen, let me tell you something, brothers. Y'all hear this? When I hear this, let me tell you something, brothers. She gonna like you if you tell the truth or not, bro. You can tell the truth, and she still gonna like you. You don't have to.
Whoa! Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
Not want to hear the lies, nigga. Quit capping. You know what? You guys are the ones that make us, the guys like me, actually get pussy because you are lying.
I tell men this all the time. You will get more action being honest and truthful. Why? Because us as women want to make a decision for ourselves. We do not want y'all to make a decision for us. Meaning putting everything out there on the table and letting us decide if we want a deal or no deal. It's the same options you should give yourself as a man. He said, why lie? Just tell her the truth.
Now you touch the nerve right now. I address these niggas. All this fucking catering to the woman. Listen, women do like to be treated like a lady. But this capping, like the woman, whatever she says right, you are a man. You did not talk to that girl because she was ugly. If that's the case, take your ass and get the ugliest girl in the world and treat her the same way. But you guys don't. You pick the ones you want to sleep with, but you try to do a sneak attack and say, I'm your friend and agree with everything. They don't like fucking niggas that agree with everything.
What's the options?
They don't like fucking people that agree with everything. They want a person to push back. They want a man. And when you agree with everything, it puts you in the friend zone. And once you hit that zone, you can't come out.
But that's you hear him saying it out of a man's mouth. When you don't give us the opportunity, when you don't give us the opportunity to say, okay, I'm seeing somebody else or several females, whatever. Is that something that you okay with? So then I could say, look, because this how I'm going to look at it, because I live by the same factor. I use the same system. I'm not going to be upset at the man for telling me that. I'm actually going to respect him and appreciate him more for telling me that. Because guess what? I'm going to, if I was a man, if I was in your shoes, I'm going to respect the female more for telling me, like, you ain't the only one. May the best motherfucker win. Okay? I'm going to respect you for that because I'm going to be like, you know what? You a real one right there. That takes confidence. That takes intention. That takes respect for somebody that I don't even really know. I only know what you showed me. I don't really know you for real. But based off of you coming and hitting me in the jugular first, instead of slowly trying to cut me down to pieces, I'm going to respect you more. I guarantee you I'm going to respect you more. Because see, Porter right here, I know him personally. That's my baby daddy. You see what I'm saying? Like, he know how I rock. He know how I am in real life. He understands me because once I started just telling him what it was and being honest and authentic, something I was from the beginning, once he realized that I wasn't going to switch up, once he realized I wasn't going to change, once he seen that who I said I was is who I am, he couldn't do nothing but respect it.
Do you pick ugly guys?
I've dated ugly guys. I've dated overweight guys. I've explored all of that. That don't matter. Again, I'm more worried about the condition of the man's heart. Because this right here is about to control everything. If that man's heart is fucked up, he gonna be fucked up to me. He gonna be fucked up to himself. Because the heart gotta be in a decent condition for the rest of the body to operate properly. If you got some mama wounds, you gonna be fucked up to me. Because you haven't dealt with that shit. You haven't just said, hey, listen, ma, you said and did some things to me that traumatized me. It's making me move crazy when it come to women. I know it, I see it, I acknowledge it, I'm aware. But I gotta come to the person that is rooted in where it started at, so you can understand where I'm coming from as a man. Because at the end of the day, I'm still a person. My gender and genitalia don't change that. I'm still a human. You did some things that hurt me. I need to acknowledge that within myself so I can stop questioning who I am and why I do the things that I do. Because most of the things we do is rooted in learned behavior. We got taught that. It don't make it right, but we got taught that. And if we don't come up in our minds and understand, like, listen, I just was taught that. I'd rather not lead my life that way. I'd rather not do the things that I saw other people before me do. I'd rather be the difference, the change, the curse breaker, whatever you want to call it. I'd rather be that than duplicate the things that I seen done. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to have advice or examples from nobody that's living a life that I don't want to live. That'll help you out right there across the board in your life. There is no reason for you to be surrounded by somebody, taking advice from somebody, be connected to somebody that's living a life that you don't want to live. Because we know what happens to people who surround themselves with things that don't align with them, that ain't about to take people where they trying to go. We know what's going to happen. You're going to become just like them. Stuck, stagnant, and stupid. It's on you to make the difference of that situation. But all of us come up against that at some point in our life. Is you going to keep living the life that you want to live? Because all of us is out here just winging it for real.
A little bit.
Yeah, we let's be honest. We winging it. We winging it. We really, listen. This the first time we done had to live this life. So that's what I mean by we just winging it. We ain't done this before. We ain't been this version of ourselves before. We ain't had to walk this life after we done learned the lessons that we needed to learn. This shit all new. So it's hard, and I get it. I'm not coming down on nobody. I get it. I understand that you got to figure it out. You got to do some things. You got to bump your head. You got to go through something. You got to go through some things. And that's okay. This is how we understand what's for us and what's not. If you just tuning in, tonight's episode was about preferences in the bedroom. Go back and watch this episode. I think it's some real nuggets, some real jewels, some game, some things that you can learn from this conversation, man.
It went well today. As usual, we on the podcast, you know, it starts up away and it goes away. But I'll tell you this. They want to see some more blessed. Until next time, that's all y'all get from me today.
Well,
I got so much to stretch out, and I can go.
Well, this is where we get into that on your platform. tell all the followers and the people that's tuning in how they can catch up with you and your platform and your brand and what you got going on.
Well, you catch up with me on Bless page because I've been on her pages. So if you catch me at the Bless page, if you're looking for me, I'll be popping in there. And once we get blessed together, you have to worry about me. Worry about me. You make sure you worry about that lady right there. And that's how you can find me.
Well, I appreciate you. This is like your second or third appearance on the show. I just want to make sure I'm reciprocating that energy and showing up for you the way you've been showing up for me, man. Like we could talk about all kinds of stuff, but in the end, I just want to make sure that everybody is clear. This is not a conversation to promote or elicit any kind of sex or none of that, okay? This is for us to be educated. This is for us to share wisdom, experiences. This is for us to grow, okay? Because none of us is above growing and learning and healing and teaching somebody else. Because I'm a firm believer, each one teach one. That's what I do it for. This ain't about us promoting nothing more than that. Okay. So I just want to make sure I put that out there before we end the episode. Next week, jam packed. Y'all make sure y'all chime in, tap in, comment, share, tell somebody, man. We gonna discuss real estate. We definitely gonna tap in with my peoples. They doing major things. They got a book out. They doing little pop-ups all over the city about artificial intelligence. I had him as a guest last year. We got some stuff going on, okay? I'm gonna have some people on here that's gonna be able to teach us, guide us, and shape us into the future, because that's what's important right now. We need to be figuring out how we gonna build and grow for tomorrow. Even though we in today, I enjoy every second of tonight's episode. But stay tuned in, man. Follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I'm on the app Tagged. I'm on YouTube. Go follow me. If you follow me on one, there is a link in my bio for all my other platforms. I love and appreciate all of y'all. It's Friday. Be careful. I always tell y'all that. Do something for yourself, but do something for somebody else. Um, let's continue to build the world up. It's enough people, things, entities that's continuously tearing us down and keeping us in a negative state. So I will see y'all back here on Tuesday for a new mini episode of Unspoken Truth. I'm your host, Tanise. Until then, peace.